Being outside is a spiritual, even religious experience for some people. They regard nature as vital to their own happiness, and its care their responsibility. Over the years, that philosophy has grown deep into the American way of life. And at the root, three men: John Muir, Aldo Leopold, and Gaylord Nelson. Each had their lives and beliefs about the environment shaped in Wisconsin.
I think it'd be hard to think of a state in the Union that has more people who have made more contributions to environmental protection in the United States. Wisconsin is one of those few states in the Union where many people from many walks of life, many class backgrounds, nonetheless regard the out of doors as a defining part of their identity.
Muir, Leopold, and Nelson all defined themselves as outdoorsmen. They hunted, fished, farmed, and did it all in a framework of respect for nature. All three also had close ties to the University of Wisconsin. Muir and Nelson as students, Leopold as a professor.
The commonalities here are excitement about the natural world, and a desire to really comprehend the meaning, not only of things scientifically, but the meaning of things philosophically.
John Muir once wrote,
"When one tugs at a single thing in nature, he finds it attached to the rest of the world."
Muir found himself attached to Wisconsin by way of his family's farm in Marquette County, about 60 miles north of Madison. And he was also a student at the UW during the Civil War. Aldo Leopold taught there about 70 years later.
Did he bring students up here?
Oh, yes.
Leopold owned property along the Wisconsin River, only about 30 miles from the Muir farm. It was here at the shack that Leopold developed what he called the land ethic.
A thing is right when it preserves the integrity, stability, and beauty of a community. It is wrong when it does otherwise.
Leopold and Muir also share a literary legacy. Muir, the father of the nation's national parks, is one of the world's great nature writers, and Leopold's classic, A Sand County Almanac, was written with his Wisconsin River farm as inspiration.
The great contribution of Sand County Almanac is to both celebrate wild places that are deep, faraway wilderness, but also the wild places that are right in our backyards, the wild creatures that live next door to us, and basically sending the message that we're responsible for all of those things.
Like Leopold and Muir, Gaylord Nelson was raised with a strong connection to the land.
My father developed a love for the outdoors as a young child, growing up near the St. Croix River, where he learned how to fish from his father, and he carried that with him throughout his life.
But unlike Muir and Leopold, Nelson was a native of the Badger State, Clear Lake to be exact. As governor and later U.S. Senator from Wisconsin, Nelson led the modern environmental movement into the American consciousness with what he called Environmental Teach-In Day, commonly known as Earth Day.
The first Earth Day was just wildly successful beyond any dream he ever could have had. 20 million people participated, so he was delighted, and it galvanized the nation.
It was a nation that was mostly wilderness a century ago when the seeds of the environmental movement were planted.